Thursday, January 24th, 2019, Adventure in Oil Trading, and today was just back in the negative. Broken record time again. Just kind of lost my mind. Going back over these trades, it just seems like I have such a disconnect between my analytical mind that before I start trading, and then when price starts moving, and I'm not going to go over all of it specifically again, but that fear of missing out after the move starts. And looking back at the charts now, I really didn't have much of any valid setups for any of these trades. And I mean, the first 7 trades you can see between 7:19 and 7:36 were not even 20 minutes apart. There were not 7 setups in 20 minutes. So I made a decision that if I can't get a handle on following my rules and being able to calmly trade, then I'm going to be back on demo next week. And I really don't want to do that, but I don't see this as being very productive. And again, like I said, I believe yesterday, this isn't just about or maybe the day before. This isn't about just having losing days. This is about not controlling myself and having discipline and following my plan. I am going to go over the charts a little bit just to get an idea of what I was looking at. We see with it, yesterday was just this star decision type indecisive bar, so looking like definitely a possibility of being in chop, and you can see that's didn't have much range expansion, and we're sitting in this consolidation again, bumping up against this, and before the profile here today, likely to go down and test into this point of control here, and I believe I said that. I'll read my pre-market read. 6:30 prices at 52.30, right above overnight low, and at point of control sitting right at yesterday's value area low. Failed back in a major previous consolidation zone after testing 2 major supply zones from December. Upside test likely at 53.15, yesterday's VPOC. And if we can get a decent move down below 52, space down to 50, but we never came anywhere near testing that. Most likely trade with inventories today is choppy to trade around 52. Numbers were at 11 Eastern, so had that to deal with. But and then going back to what I was looking at, being very close in the trade at the open around here, at the overnight low. So this is pretty much one of the only valid trades and setups, and I didn't get it because the reason this is a very valid failure as per my setups and my rules, a very clear failure of this overnight low and a rejection. And this happened pre-market, pre-open, which certainly didn't stop me from trading in when I was on demo, which is a problem again that I am trading differently now that I'm trading live. I would have never passed on that trade just because it was pre-market, and I did in this case, in this scenario. So that's a problem. That's going to play havoc with my edge and have major problems for consistency when I'm choosing to take setups and when I'm not. So, but at that point, this is how this sets up and how this has kind of been setting up. Is I missed this setup, and it turns out to we get a pullback, and I was watching it still, but the pullback only came back to 18, and the low here was 07. So not being able to get a decent entry. The stop just being too wide because I would have been below this bar low. So, and after that, we get this large imbalance up, and if we look to the left, this is very likely. And my read of going up to this 53.17 of that previous point of control played out, and we can see this is exactly where we are balancing here around that area. But all of this overnight area, if we reject lower, there's a lot of liquidity sitting above all of these bar highs, and you can see we came up, and the majority of those trades that I took between 7:19 and 7:35 was all in this just chop, and I got chopped up really bad. And the thing that was most frustrating is when we came up to this this first test higher, the 77. I got on both sides of it incorrectly, and that was when I got short at 735. and that was after this high, which was a decent try. And then when it stopped me out for a 10 tick full loss, I immediately flip-flopped, thinking that it was going to break out. At 77, I took this and took a 14 tick loss, moving my stop, which is completely against my rules, just to not get taken out of the trade, and took a 14 tick. So shorting here and getting taken out, and then getting long back up here again. So both just on the opposite sides, and that accounted for 24 ticks of my losses. And that's when it really, I took a break. Thought I was going to be done for the day, came back, calmed, and kind of with a little bit more composure, and I was able to trade after inventories at 9:10. And I took that trade 9:10 here. Let's switch to the M1. 9:10 is on this failure here, this low price not moving down, and I got a nice run here. 15 ticks. I thought hopefully I was going to be able to fill in some more of this space, but it was still pretty volatile. So getting 15 out of that wasn't bad, and it would have come really back almost to my entry anyway. So it's good that I took the 15. And 9:10. Oh, I'm sorry. That was I don't even know what I'm talking about. 9:10. That was a short trade. So on this low, this was a continuation to come back down into here. So, and then I tried a couple more times, 9:29 and 9:55. 9:29 was kind of this failure here of these bar highs to come down here, decent trade, and then we rejected this. And then 9:55, probably the highs. Very close. It was a pretty nice trade. Unfortunately, I only took 5 out of it. I was trying to get at least down into this area, this 15. It came down to 17 and came back up to take me out plus 5. Unfortunate, but that's what it is. I'm going to cut it real short today. Don't really feel too much like talking, frustrated. And I need to either make a decision. I am going to follow my rules and trade my plan, or I'm not, because otherwise this is just silly gambling and likely to be throwing away money. A little bit of a different emotional state than before. Before, without any consistency, it was still very frustrating, but being that I never had any winning consistency and a nice expectancy before, like I have had since this time live, it's almost more frustrating now, because I feel like I know if I trade my plan and execute well, I will do well, and so it's almost more disappointing now to see it that I can't keep it together, and I don't know what that's about. I really don't. But back to the contemplation and taking more of an objective look at my trading. I mean, it's pretty clear. I mean, these tiny little losses too, and just really there's just no point after that first failure of this overnight low to try to be getting short anywhere in here until we get a major failure of price. I mean, I could see maybe taking a short attempt on the break of this this failure here in the overnight low, but after that's not until like 8:21, and I had no trades in that at that point. So to try a short here, as per my rules for failures, that is more reasonable, which I didn't also take any of those, because that was probably good for a decent trade before inventories. But trying to play the breakouts without support of price, and not good. So that's it for today. Thank you.